You want to know how I ended up standing in front of the most expensive engine in the airline's fleet, holding nothing but a wrench and a reputation no one in that hangar seemed to respect? Well, let's just say it started with a daring, expensive, public, career-ending dare, the kind only a CEO with too much swagger and not enough patience for people like me would pull. You ever have 50 people stare at you like they're waiting for a punchline? Yeah, that happened to me story doesn't start slow, so buckle up. So there I was, leaner than I'd been in a decade, tired but stubborn, gripping that wrench like it was a sword. The GE90 loomed over me, beast of a thing, worth more than every house in my neighborhood put together. And in my back, a wall of white shirts engineers, mechanics, the kind of folks who call me ma'am, but never trust me to sign off their work orders. In the middle, Maxwell Barrett, CEO, golden boy of Atlantic Airlines, who had just told me in front of God and everyone, if you're so sure, fix it yourself. That engine had cost the company $8 million in downtime, and if I failed, well, they'd already fired 8 people. My son, Marcus, tried to stop Mayhay, whispered, "Mom, you don't have to do this. He's setting you up." But sometimes being set up is the only way to take your shot. If I don't do this, who will? I told him, and I meant it. 3 weeks before, I'd been in my kitchen, hoping for a quiet Sunday. Sweet potato pie in the oven, kitchen filled with that smell, cinnamon, nutmeg, childhood memories. My house is nothing fancy, but it's mine, paid for with settlement money after my husband's accident. My sanctuary, my fortress. Then the phone rings, and it's Hank, my supervisor. "Elena, I know it's your day off, but we've got a situation on the London flight. Nobody can figure out these engine codes. The CEO's flying in with his team. You're the only one who might make sense of it." You ever have a day where your plans just got thrown out the window? That was mine. Marcus was supposed to bring his girlfriend to dinner, the first woman since his divorce. But when you're a black woman in maintenance, 20 years on the job means you answer when called. I told Hank I'd be there in 40, and I changed into the same Navy coveralls I'd worn since '04. Stared at my face in the mirror, more silver in the curls, more lines around my eyes, but my hands? My hands are still strong. That's all that matters. At Hartsfield-Jackson, I slipped past the security door engine noise, the smell of jet fuel, the chaos that always made sense to me. I've always felt at home in a hangar. Hank handed me a tablet. It's Trip 7, 3 years old. Weird power fluctuations. Captain diverted to JFK. Barrett's team says it's a design flaw, wants to swap the whole system. 5 million, 2 weeks downtime. I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense. Systems don't just fail at 3 years. I told Hank, "Let me talk to the engine." He grinned. Most people thought I was crazy, but I always listened to the machines. For hours, I crawled through panels, followed wires, tested connections like translating a language only I understood. That's when I found it. Not a design flaw, a software mismatch. Somebody uploaded the wrong firmware last time they serviced her in Dubai. The engine was talking, the system wasn't listening. I showed Hank, looked at me like I'd just saved Christmas. We rolled back the software. 2 hours later, she purred like new. By midnight, she was ready for London. Barrett himself appeared, shiny suit, cold eyes. "Remarkable work, MS. Washington. Where'd you study?" "Morris Brown College, 2 years. Then life happened. 30 years on engines, starting in the Air Force. He asked about the new AI system he was pushing, the one that had put half my department out. I told him, any tool is only as good as the hands using it. Some problems need intuition. He smiled. A politician's smile didn't reach his eyes. "We'll see about that." Next morning, I was summoned to an all-hands. Barrett delivered his pitch. AI diagnostics were coming. Automation would make us winners. Translation, job cuts. To sell it, he set up side-by-side trials, old school mechanics versus his machine. That first demo, Barrett picked me. He wanted to prove I got lucky. I insisted on my friend Ray Booker as Bakupa Vietnam vet. More aviation wisdom in his pinky than most people ever learn. They gave us impossible problems. The IMS spit out diagnoses in seconds. Textbook stuff, but the real curveballs? Ray and I found things the AI missed. I could see Barrett didn't like that. His smile got tighter every time I was right. But it wasn't just a competition. Something deeper was going on. Barrett started poking around my background, asking about my family. Marcus called me, worried. Barrett had shown up at Georgia Tech, asking about his composites research. Wanted to know about my father, James Washington, a genius who'd invented a bonding technique for carbon fiber back in the 70s, only to have it stolen by his company, buried because he was a black tech without credentials. The AR-220, Atlantic's new jet, used a breakthrough composite, the same method my father developed. Barrett wanted it, and he was trying to squeeze it out of me, playing chess with people's jobs, their history. The trap snapped shut when I fixed the 777's engine, and Barrett offered me a shiny promotion if I'd partner with him and hand over my father's research. He wanted the last piece for his AR-220 project, but wouldn't say it outright. If I refused, my job, my team, everything we built was on the chopping block. You know what I mean? That's not a choice, that's a shakedown. I didn't bite. Margaret Shun, a board member, pulled me aside. Change the narrative, she said. So I countered with a proposal of my own. Let's run a 3-month trial. See who solves more problems, me team, or the AI. The board loved it. Barrett hated it, but he couldn't refuse. That should have been the end, right? Wrong. The 777 came back another failure, another perfectly timed opportunity for Barrett to prove his system. Only this time, the evidence didn't add up. The wear on the actuator didn't match natural stress. It had been tampered with. Worse, the part wasn't even original to the aircraft. Barrett tried to brush it off, but I wouldn't let it slide. Called it out, right there in front of the board, the execs, the whole hangar. I didn't accuse him directly, but everyone saw the implication. Margaret Shin stepped in full investigation, she said. Barrett's narrative unraveled. His system hadn't predicted a failure. It had been fed one rigged, plain and simple. That was the day the hangar fell silent and all those eyes bored into my back, not with skepticism, but with a mix of fear, awe, and something else. Respect. I've been the underdog my whole life, the black woman in the coveralls nobody listened to, but that day I was the one who saw through the noise. The one who stood up, risked everything, and forced the truth into the light. You want a Hollywood ending? Sorry. Real life's messy, eh? Barrett's fate? That's for the board to decide. As for me, I am still here, wrench in hand, my father's notebooks locked safe at home, my son by my side. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and find my job replaced by an algorithm. But today, I reminded everyone who's really keeping those planes in the air. And if you think the story's over, think again, because the only thing more dangerous than an engine nobody understands is a woman who knows exactly what's at stake. So tell me, as I write, to stand my ground, to call out a lie when everyone else stayed quiet? Or is the future all about trusting the machine, no matter who gets left behind? Go ahead, drop your thoughts below. In this business, everyone thinks they know what justice looks like. Let's see who's got the guts to say it out loud.